Guys, it's Lost in Plot, and we are here with the Netflix original movie, Operation Mincemeat.
Operation Mincemeat, based on a true story, a very spectacular World War II story, because it is 1943, and we are in Great Britain, and they are about to launch their great offensive onto the island of Sicily, and they don't want the Nazis waiting there when they get there. So the plan is put in place, a deception, a grand deception to fool the Führer into thinking that they're actually going to land on Greece instead of Italy. So we've concocted a wild, outlandish plan to deceive him. We've even brought
a ruse.
We've even brought in Ian Fleming, the author of the 007 James Bond novels, to help them craft this perfect deception. We've got Colin Firth starring. We've got Jason Isaacs in there as well. And that's what we're getting here, a true story war film.
So a pretty neat sounding story, admittedly so. So we've got a fictional retelling of a true life story, and it's involving high stakes because we're talking World War II. So how does this movie make it from the historical facts to the screen, and is the retelling worthy of the source material?
Well, that's the thing, because this is all about double agents and spies really happening in World War II. You think that's pretty exciting. It should be a spine-tingling thriller. But it's not that. It's not that at all. This is a very romanticized, very overwritten interpretation of a story, which is really incredible and really remarkable and probably didn't need all of that to begin with.
And it's very subdued and very Britishy, which isn't to say that Britishy is a bad thing, but sometimes when you see films and shows and things of that nature take themselves a little too slowly, a little too deliberately, and a little too subtly, it becomes a bit of a strain. And for this movie, if your patience and sensibilities, if you need something to hook you, to grab you, and really give you a compelling through line, you might struggle to make it through some long passages of British dialogue and
that's absolutely right,
deliveries.
Because the first act is completely devoid of conflict. It's very difficult to see. You just got it's like watching a bunch of drama theater kids plotting out the backstory for one of their characters, because the ruse is to send this dead body that's supposed to have secret British plans and let the Nazis find it. So they're going into the backstory, they're giving all these details about where he grew up, what his favorite food was, and they're just getting so excited, and it's so whimsical in that first act. It's just like, I thought this was a true story about World War II. It's kind of a serious topic, right? And this is a true story thing. In spite of itself, by the end of the film, when the true facts come in, it actually does perform pretty good, and the performances are fine. But the way it's overwritten and just the tone and the interpretation here, it's not what I was looking for. I don't think it was what you were looking for.
No, and tone and interpretation are the big things, because if you've got interesting source material, you've got to do it justice. And here the choices they made were basically to flatten it out and take it in the least interesting ways possible. You want to punch it up and make it exciting for an audience that's going to sit there for a rip-roaring time and a really cool story about a true life event that took place. Not something that's going to be as dull as watching paint dry and really going to try your patience. So this is the type of film that if you're going to sit down and you're going to watch this movie, you really need to have your caffeine, all right, or whatever other drugs you get hopped up on so you can be hyper-focused and pay attention to really make it through to the good stuff and plow your way through a bunch of extraneous nonsense of people just kind of talking at one another.
Yeah, and really in the end, it's this romanticized, whimsical interpretation clashes against the fact that this is World War II and this is a super secret mission that they're on. And for me, it didn't work. So this is dead for me at a 4 out of 10.
It's dead for me too, also at a 4 out of 10. They're going to have to bring a bit more excitement to these types of stories if they make them in the future. You can only get by so much on the fact that it's a true life story that you're retelling. Hey, great, very interesting, but I can go read about it in about 5 to 10 minutes if I really want to learn about what happened, as opposed to watching your 2-hour movie with your dramatic interpretation. So,
nice try, Netflix. Nice try. But Netflix is waking up a little bit, because in the news, they've gone out and they've issued a new culture statement this week.
Oh, Netflix.
They've seen they've read the tea leaves, so to speak. They've seen what's been happening to Disney and out there in the industry. All these corporations going woke and infusing this woke content.
Wait a minute. They're not thinking about stopping grooming children.
Well, they just might be, because after their stock just really tanked and they didn't hit their subscriber figures, now they've changed their culture statement to say, hey, if you don't like some of the content that we're doing, if it offends you, well, you can go work somewhere else.
Seems reasonable to me.
That's right there in their culture statement. We do things to entertain people. We're going to be wise about how we spend our subscribers' money. We're going to give them good stuff to watch. And if you get offended by that in some project that you're working on, well, maybe you shouldn't work at Netflix.
They're also going to continue making those titty shows. Everybody likes those.
Everyone likes those.
Guys, that's the word on Operation Mincemeat. Took a weird turn at the end there, but please leave your thoughts and feedback in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter. We'll see you all in the next one.